Hello everyone, today's video is about time management. We'll be talking about how to devise and categorize your time and tasks. In this video, we've spoken about a bunch of things and hacks which include prioritizing your tasks, how do you delegate, how do you understand what task is important versus the other, and make sure that you're optimizing your day effectively. We'll also be talking about some common mistakes that we all do subconsciously which stop us from utilizing the entire day and getting lost over the course of day. So I've spoken about some tricks which will help you keep on track throughout the day without getting you burnt out. So let's get into it. Is to understand the difference between an important and an urgent task. A lot of people get confused between what is important and what is urgent to do. So this is urgent, this is not so urgent, this is important, this is not so important. So clearly box number 1 is of utmost priority, which is urgent and important. One of the key tools of time management is also not spending a lot of time in box 1. And if you find yourself spending a lot of time in box 1, you might want to evaluate why in box number 3. A lot of important tasks actually happen in box 3, tasks which are of utmost value. Your long-term goals, how do you manage your time, how do you get out of the crisis box, it all happens in box number 3. Next is box 2. You'll find that most of your day gets away by you without you realizing in box number 2. You might ideally want to spend not more than half your day in this quadrant, and followed by that is box number 4, which is not so urgent and not so important. Ideally, you should be minimizing your time spent in this quadrant and maximizing your time spent in this area. Of course, minimizing this so that you don't get burned out. The whole idea about time management is how do you maximize this quadrant and minimize your time you're spending in this quadrant. Which brings me to my next point. How do you do this? How do you maximize your time? How do you maximize your space in your time in this area more so that not everything becomes urgent, and all the tasks have their place in time so that you can sort them effectively. Now on a daily basis, you have a lot of input and then you're producing a lot of work, right? So there are 5 key methods how you could do this, how you could maximize your time. First is learn to say a no. Actually, to be successful, all you need is a bunch of yeses and a lot of no's. So you have to say no to distractions. You need to learn to say no to things which don't add any value, which stop you from completing your task, which stop you from being on track. So practice saying no and become really good at it. Second is saying a partial no, which is to negotiate. Negotiation is essentially just cutting down the time that you spend on some activity. Let's say if there's a birthday or a commitment which you absolutely have to do, but it is not adding any value to your tasks. So instead of spending 3 hours or 2 hours at an event, you could probably excuse yourself in half an hour. Next is to delegate. So delegate is a very key tool in helping you manage your time and also not letting your work get affected and accomplishing what you've set out to accomplish. So one hack y'all can practice is the first thing when you get up and you start your work day, you could make a list of the things that you need to get done in the day, or you could do this a day prior in the night before you sleep. You could plan your next day and write the things that you absolutely have to get done in that day. And from that, just spend 2 minutes evaluating what things could be delegated or done by somebody else. It is a game changer because it frees up so much of your headspace and so much of your time, doesn't compromise on your work, and gives you the freedom to focus on what is truly important for you. But let's say you are in a situation where you cannot say no, cannot delegate or negotiate. The other way is to have efficient systems in place All of time management is just having very, very efficient systems in place. This helps you manage everything properly. And the next is to do things less well and not be a perfectionist. And we're talking about this quadrant, which helps you to navigate through these activities. Of course, if you are in this quadrant, you might want to do it well and with perfection, but a lot of people just get stuck there and then nothing falls into place. So whatever is here, you can get out of your perfectionist habit and learn to be more flexible and get the task out of your way instead of making sure that it's perfectly done. Solid and efficient systems in place will sort your life out. It will make the whole process so much easier. You will feel more relaxed, your productivity would increase, the quality of your work would increase. The only thing you have to do is just spend some time, take a back seat and just evaluate, spend some time understanding and creating systems which suit you and work for you. This will help you immensely in finally putting your work out there rather than procrastinating and sitting on it, which brings me to my next point, which is procastination. Procrastination directly affects our most important quadrant of time management. We all have a tendency to put aside work which is tedious and stretched and just sitting on things, but that does not get us anywhere. So there are some ways you can get out of the procrastination cycle. Many tricks that you could use to not put aside things and not procrastinate. In today's video, I'll be sharing some 5 tricks with you guys. So first is to maintain a diary. What you could do is in your diary, just 1 hour, 2 hour, you could put aside to just finish a task and make sure that you are ticking off and giving yourself the satisfaction of crossing something off your to-do list. So putting that activity on your diary and your to-do list just gives yourself, you're giving yourself a reminder and it's in front of you to do it. Next is just take a plunge. I mean, if there is something that you absolutely have to do, don't think too much about it, just jump into it. This helps you not sit on it much, not overthink it. And third is tell yourself that you'll just be doing the first 5 minutes of it. So let's say if you have to follow up with 100 customers, tell yourself that okay, you're just going to make 10 calls. Or if you check your emails, you set a timer for 5 minutes and give yourself 5 minutes to just get into it. Chances are that after doing it for 5-10 minutes, you would have got into a state of flow, and then you would probably want to continue doing it without the fatigue of procrastination, or at least you would have gotten some chunk out of your way, which would give you some satisfaction and it will also get the work done. Next is to reward yourself. You could tell yourself that okay, if you complete a task, that's the only way you could probably treat yourself to a coffee, or you can only go for lunch once you have finished this, otherwise you will not go. So whatever reward system works for you. Next is to start with the toughest. So whatever in your to-do list, whatever you think is the most hardest, something that you don't want to do or it's tougher to do, the first thing that you do is get that out of your way. It just gives you a lot of energy and the rest of your day falls into place. Getting that task out of your way would give you immense satisfaction and a boost of energy, which will help you accomplish other things on your list as well. Now, there are 3 types of personalities that stop you from kind of achieving a perfect timetable or achieving time management, which is being perfect. Things in this quadrant which absolutely must happen perfectly, should happen perfectly, but otherwise wanting everything to happen perfectly is not going to work. So you have to understand what you need to do with a lot of focus and perfectly, and what things you could just get over with, and for that activity it's more important to get out than to be done properly. A lot of people spend a lot of time thinking what are people going to say and what would they think about your work, so on and so forth. Hence they find it very difficult to say no or to negotiate, which overburdens them, which it burns them out. So this is a trait which you need to get rid of. You have to do what is good for you first. It gives you complete control over your time, and hence once you have control over time, that's when you could actually segregate it, segment it and manage it. If you would probably say yes to things which are not on your list, and just because you cannot say a no or because you're trying to please somebody, it's going to put you off track again. The last is hurry up. hurrying things up. They would do 10 things in a day or maybe 20 things in a day, but none of them are done perfectly, hence they keep redoing it. So in the end they land up spending a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of their energy into redoing tasks and not really accomplishing anything. So you have to find the rhythm between not being too stuck up and not wanting to rush into things. Once you have made a to-do list and you know what is there that you need to do, spending that 5 minutes, taking that 5 minutes in the day, in the start of your day, to figure what thing needs to be done perfectly, what thing needs to be hurried up. You have to divide that, and the balance is where your achieving your time management would happen. This brings me to my last point, which is systems. Note keeping and writing things down is the best and the most amazing tool in time management. What you would need is, first you need a master list. So this is a list of all the items that you need to accomplish, let's say in a week or a month or 3 months, however long you can foresee, or how you're planning things depends on that. How I choose to do this is, in the start of every year I write down a bunch of things that I absolutely want to achieve in that year, and then after that, let's say there are 3 to 4 things, I make a plan of action of what all will be required in order for me to achieve these things. And once those activities are jotted down, I give those a timeline. So let's say if I want to expand my brand into retail, so how am I going to do that? I need to make sure that I'm present in at least 10 stores in this year, right? So for that, the first thing I need to do is start making cold calls. So and collaborating with people, making a list of who I want to collaborate with. So I would give myself a timeline of 2 months, and in that, my task for the first 2 weeks would just be making follow-up calls to figuring out what stores I want to pitch to and doing sales pitch. The next 2 weeks would be dedicated to then figuring out logistics, allotment, how am I going to market this, so on and so forth. So these are some examples of how you could pick tasks for the entire year and delegate your quarter, month, week accordingly. So my master list usually is a list of activities that I want to achieve in the week. So I make this mostly every Sunday to figure out how the week needs to be planned. And the activities that are put in this weekly list is based on my long-term goal which I want to achieve in the year, along with other ongoing activities which have already been established. You need a daily to-do. This could be like a piece of paper, or you could have it written on your whiteboard, whatever works for you. So based on whatever you want to delegate in the week, you'll assign yourself tasks on a daily basis, and satisfaction also leads your way somewhere. Third is to have a calendar. So in your calendar, you could have appointments, meetings, things that you need to accomplish. So you can block time for things that you absolutely have to sit on and finish, which could be blocked for an hour, 2 hours. Maybe you're blocking 2 such activities, and then you're blocking some free time as well. So half of your day could be meticulously planned. You can plan for 6 hours to 8 hours a day, which includes of all the activities that you have figured. The techniques you could use in your calendar is probably blocking 2 time slots, time block 2 slots, which help you sit at a stretch and finish your important activities, and others you can have your meetings, appointments, and keep some time free for activities that you cannot foresee or which have just cropped up out of nowhere. If you completely fill your calendar, you might just burn out, get lost. Nothing will fall into place, and the whole time system would collapse eventually. So make sure that half of your day is free. So having this system in place kind of gives you a direction, and it helps put things into perspective. This way you're not juggling between tasks only in your head, where there are chances of the task getting slipped out of your mind, or you feeling exhausted or burnt out because of how many things you need to do. once you have put it on paper and you see it in front of you, there is a direction, there is clarity, there's a system. Feel calmer because now you know, okay, by Wednesday I would most definitely have finished all these things because I have allotted time, and in that time I'm not going to maybe get distracted or get pulled by something else unless something urgent comes up. So it also gives you confidence and helps you do the tasks better. Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you've liked the video, please like, share and subscribe my channel. If you have any topics that you want to learn about, please drop in the comments box. I'll probably do some research or I'll share my learnings with you guys. Thank you so much for watching.